Teacher Crocia from Light Academy Secondary School, Economics. I welcome you to eLight platform. Last time we looked at inflation, the different types of inflation, and others. Today I want us to look at the general causes of inflation. Remember in the previous presentation, I talked about the causes of the respective types of inflation. This time we are going to look at the general for all types of inflation. Inflation has a general term, and among other causes we are seeing breakdown of infrastructure. Like in the previous discussion, I told you infrastructure like roads, railways, bridges. In the case of breakdown of such, it reduces supply, and that results into supply rigidities in one region, and that results into shortage, and that brings about increase in prices. Our second cause is excessive. I want you to note that excessive appears 4 times. We have excessive or uncontrolled creation by commercial banks. I told you commercial banks are profit makers. For them, the more loans they give out, the more profit that they make. So whenever they give out loans, they increase the money in circulation. So the public tends to have a lot of money that forces them to buy a lot of goods. And in realizing that, traders increase prices, and that results into cost push inflation. Our third one is excessive issuance of currency. Who issues currency? The central bank, Uganda, Bank of Uganda in this case. You find that whenever Bank of Uganda prints too much money, it increases in the hands of the public, and the public tends to have a lot of purchasing power. On realizing that, traders increase the prices, and that brings about inflation. The fourth one is excessive inflow of funds from abroad. Like I told you, inflow of funds, money coming from other countries to our country, Uganda. Many of you have relatives abroad in Japan, in China, and Europe. They normally send here dollars, pounds, and so on. In the process, you're adding on what we have in the country. At the same time, we normally get grants, donations. We get debts from other countries. All that money comes in Uganda, is converted into Ugandan money. That becomes too much in the hands of the public, and therefore it brings about a high purchasing power, and that forces the traders also to increase the price. The fifth is we are saying excessive government expenditure. Government normally spends on the provision of social services like education, safe water, defense, medical care, and others. So in so doing, we realize that it is sending money to the public. At the same time, it allows the citizens to save their money and use it for other things. So in realizing that, the traders increase the prices so that to make more profits. Number 6, we are seeing excessive exportation of essential goods like foodstuffs, for example. We have been exporting the kosher to South Sudan, beans, rice, and the other things. So in the process of exporting a lot of such things, we will remain with little in our home country. That brings about competition for them, and that forces the traders to increase the prices. Then number 7, we are seeing decline in the value of the local currency relative to the foreign currencies. When you compare how much is a dollar in terms of Ugandan money, $1 just is 3,750, 3,800. That's too much. You realize that we have less money, so that forces us to print more Ugandan money so that we can have match up with the foreign currency. At the same time, having less foreign currency limits us from importing a lot of goods, and the little that we import in brings about competition for them, and that results in increasing their prices. Then number 8, we are seeing rising costs of production in terms of wages, in terms of water bills, electricity bills, transport costs, and many other cases. In an attempt to meet the cost of production and also maintain their profit margins, producers increase the prices, which brings about inflation. Then importation of goods from countries already experiencing inflation. You know it very well that we depend basically on imported goods. Iron sheets, for example, from China, from India, from South Africa. Electronics from European countries, from Asian countries, and many other medical care, medicine, or pharmaceutical products from European countries, Asian countries. So all that requires importation in form of dollars, pounds, and euros. Now in the process of buying at a higher price in those countries already experiencing inflation, on reaching home here, we are forced also to sell at a higher price that brings about inflation. Then greed for profits by traders. You know it very well that traders are businessmen whose major aim is to make profits. So in an attempt to make more profits, what they do is to keep on increasing the price over and over again, and it brings about inflation. Then number 11, we are saying speculation by traders. Traders are predicting that there's going to be shortage in the future, especially for agricultural products, even fuel at times, because now normal OPEC, the body that is responsible for exportation of petroleum in the whole world, they can tell there's going to be shortage of petroleum. Now petroleum dealers in the country here, they immediately increase the price so to make more profits. Then we are talking about natural hazards. Our brothers in Burundi, you have always heard about them. They are always affected by landslides. Then you find floods, you find pests and diseases, you find drought. All that badly affect the agricultural products, and therefore their supply reduces in the harvesting season, which leads to increase in the prices of agricultural products in the country. And political instability. This scares away most of the producers because they fear to lose their lives and the property. I told you, investors, these are people who have accumulated their wealth over a long period of time. They cannot just they cannot just allow to lose their money just like that. So in the process of scaring the investors, production reduces. Even established production units also get destroyed. So in the process, there is shortage, and that results into increase in prices. Having talked about the causes, I want you to take this very, very important. Emphasize on the explanation, and you should address issues, factors that lead to scarcity of goods relative to their demand. In your explanation, I want to see something that brings about shortage, and then why shortage brings about increase in the prices. So that's how I want you to present your answers. And in the process, you use the word that bring in a movement. Because we say inflation is a movement. Constant increase. There's moving from a lower level to a higher level. Prices move from a lower level going into a higher level persistently. So when explaining, bring in a word that brings in that kind of movement. And again, we are saying that the factor that put too much money in circulation, like for example, printing of more money or excessive issuance of currency in the country. Look at it, increase in the or excessive inflow of foreign exchange and so on and so forth. Tell us how that money comes in. How does it bring about increase in the consumers' purchasing power, and how does it bring about increase in the prices? I want to leave you with some assignment still, with a question here that you will brainstorm. To what extent is inflation in developing countries? When I say developing countries, including Uganda, all African countries, most Asian countries are developing countries. So you tell me to what extent is inflation in developing countries caused by rising cost of production. So you bring the rising cost of production. After talking about factors that bring the element of rising cost of production, you bring in other factors also. You say, however, there are other factors or other causes. Then you bring with them. Like I told you that any economic concept or any economic situation, it has effects. Now we want to look at the effects of inflation in an economy, on the economy. That economy can be Uganda's economy. It can be any other country, in Africa, in Asia, in Europe. So, like I told that economics covers the entire world. What are the effects of inflation? Inflation has both positive and negative effects. But it takes us the types of inflation according to speed. Because remember we talked about mild inflation, which we also call the creeping inflation. And we also talked about moderate inflation and hyper. Moderate and hyper are dangerous. So for them they're associated with negative effects. Mild, we say it is okay, it is good, it's advantageous. So it is associated with positive contributions. So here we are saying you can even specify the type of inflation that you want to explain here. Mild inflation helps the economy to recover from a recession or a depression. What do you mean by a recession or depression? This is a situation where there are low levels of economic activities, high levels of unemployment, low prices with low demand. You find low government revenue, limited market. Sometimes it can bring even political instability in the country as the poor people become disgruntled and start discamping the government or to fight against the ruling government. Then we are saying stimulates people's effort. Mild inflation in this case stimulates people's effort to work harder. Like when I see investors earning more profits, because mild inflation brings about more profits. I also work hard to accumulate capital so that I can invest, and they also earn more profits. And that enables the country to develop or to produce more goods and services. Number 3, we are saying it increases the prices, stimulate investment. Businessmen by nature are profit makers. And the higher prices, I told you, imply more profits. Once they see prices increasing, they expect to make more profits. So many investors come in and so that to enjoy the higher profits. Number 4, we are saying mild inflation still brings about more employment opportunities. As investors come in, it implies jobs. We shall need workers to transport the raw material from wherever they are. Even agriculturists, farmers to bring the raw materials. We shall need technicians in the industries. We shall need marketeers and so many other people. We should earn them income and then improve their standards of living. Then it encourages adoption of consumption industries or strategy. You find that we establish industry because of the ever-increasing profits and because of the imported inflation to avoid bringing goods that are from countries that are already suffering from inflation. What we do is establish industries at home that can produce those goods that we are formerly imported and that promotes industrialization. Number 6, we are saying increase government revenue. From these increased investments, these investments are taxed by the government and therefore government gets more revenue for further development of the country. You can even say for provision of social services. Then we are saying it encourages forced savings. In an attempt to accumulate capital, like I've told you that it promotes investment, it brings about more profits. Even me as a worker, what I do is to save my money. When I save my money, I invest it, and then I also make more profits. So that's how it brings about forced saving. Then it encourages innovativeness and creativity in the economy because of the competition among other investors. I've told you, it brings about more investment. These investors are going to compete amongst themselves. So in the process of competing, you have to be creative to come up with new products, high quality, and the public enjoys it, improve on their standards of living. We're seeing borrowers, stock or debtors stand to gain. Like when I borrow money from you, 1 million now, and I'm going to pay you that money back after 6 months, 1 million. At the moment, 1 million can buy a lot of things, so I can gain. But at the time of paying you after 6 months, that 1 million can no longer buy the same amount of goods. It will end up buying less. So me as a borrower, I will benefit. You as a lender, you are going to lose in this case. Then we are saying it encourages labor mobility. Because of the profits, because it encourages hard work and so on, you find younger people moving from place to place. They can easily move from one geographical area to another geographical area where they expect to make more profits, which we are calling geographical mobility of labor, or changing from one job to another where you expect to make more profits. We are calling occupational mobility of labor. Those are positives. Next time we meet, we shall discuss the negatives. I encourage you to stay home, stay safe. For more information, you can also find us on our eLight platform, Light Academy Secondary School.